Is this you're live? Is this let's go. Good to go.
Hey everybody, we're doing this. I appreciate it. All right, we're gonna get started since it's after 6 o'clock. 6:01. All right, so welcome to Meet the Candidates Night. We'll be starting off with introductions. Each candidate gets 2 minutes for their opening remarks. I will have a timer on my phone, so if you hear the alarm going off, your time has run out. We will alternate the questions on who answers first. So for our first introduction, we'll start with Samantha.
To write it down, let me just start by thanking everybody who's here, everybody who's watching online from wherever you are. You guys who put this all together for us, and the folks who sent in their questions. The participation from everybody here is so crucial to our efforts in sustaining and building up this district for the future. That applies to every one of us, whether we have kids in the going to the schools yet or not, or in the past. The alumni and the newcomers like me, right? It's only been like 10 years for me, right? The newcomers like me, we're looking to the strength of the school district as we plant our roots in this community. So since being elected in 2019, I have had the privilege to work with this amazing, my amazing colleagues on the board, the admin team, the staff, and getting really good feedback from families and the community. It's certainly been a challenge navigating the pandemic, capital project votes, huge costs increases and drastic funding cuts. And that's just a few of the stuff we have to deal with. But despite all that, this board that I've worked with in the past and now, and the administration, we really remain aligned and forward-thinking in achieving our academic goals, our extracurricular student support goals, and done that with fiscal responsibility, right? This is the taxpayers' fund that we're using to get all this done. We've had to make a lot of hard choices, but we've actually seen some real progress, and I just want to highlight that. We've seen improved student behaviors, high-quality staffing and professional development, strengthened governmental relationships through advocacy, a lot of advocacy that I believe has helped move the needle, certainly brought some clarity to state funding, and hopefully that continues in the trajectory that it's been going. We've also brought innovative, and by we, I mean we, have brought innovative approaches to academics and fiscal management. That's allowed us to, it's allowed us to avoid some of the pitfalls that we've seen in other communities, other districts, and ultimately do more with less, as AP has always done. If elected, I will continue to advocate fiercely for our district and students, and always approach everything with diligence and integrity. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you. Allison?
Hi, everyone. I'm Allison Massey, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to run for the Board of Education. I'm a mom of 2 young children. My son is entering kindergarten in the fall, and my daughter turns 2 this summer. I also work full-time as a financial operations coordinator for a floral distributor. My son entering kinder is a huge reason I wanted to get involved. I went to a board meeting to see what it was all about, and I heard these mothers of young children pleading because their children were drowning and teachers were feeling burned out. I think there needs to be a voice for our youngest learners and our teachers. I was a teacher when my husband was stationed in Texas, and I do understand that teachers do need the support, and there needs to be appropriate ratios in the classroom so teachers can do their job properly. I believe every children deserves a strong start, and every teacher deserves support within the classroom. I care deeply about the future of our schools, and I want to be the voice for families like mine who are just starting this journey, and for educators who guide our children every day. As a mother, a former teacher, and someone who simply wants the best for our kids, I hope I am given that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris?
Hi, good evening. My name is Chris Phelps. I've lived in the district for 9 years with my wife and 2 children. I'm a middle school social studies teacher and have worked in a few of the local schools. My love of learning started early, growing year to year, really taking off when I was in middle school myself, which is probably how I ended up there. When I discovered my love of history, I had great teachers that were funny, They cared about their students, they gave life lessons. And those educators led me to a career in education myself. I still love to learn today, and I believe that is in part thanks to the great experience that I had in my school. I'm running for the Averill Park Board of Education because I want each of our students in the district to have that great school experience. I will bring my perspective as a classroom teacher to the problems facing our district. I believe I'm especially attuned to the experiences of students on a day-to-day basis. I'm there every day. I will work collaboratively with the other board members, our administrators, teachers, staff, students, and community members to make our schools all that they can be. Thanks.
Thank you. And Megan?
Thank you. Good evening, esteemed members of the Averill Park School District, dedicated educators, valued community members, and my fellow candidates. Volunteering is more than just an act of kindness. It is a commitment to invest in the success and well-being of others. In my case, it is an investment in the future of our children. When we volunteer, we become role models, demonstrating the values of empathy, responsibility, and civic engagement. Our actions teach students that they are part of a larger community, one that thrives on collaboration and mutual support. Moreover, volunteer service in this body strengthens the bonds between our schools and the community. It creates a network of support that extends beyond the classroom, fostering an environment where students feel valued and supported. When parents, grandparents, and community members engage with our schools, they bring diverse perspectives and skills that enrich the educational experience for everyone. My commitment to the service of the Averill Park School community can be seen in my openness to engage with community members, as well as my local advocacy at the local and state levels. I have actively participated in efforts to increase transparency within our district and have supported the sharing of resources to encourage district family engagement. By promoting open communication and ensuring that information is accessible to all stakeholders, we can continue to build that trust and foster a collaborative environment. In my service as a board member, I have also worked to establish relationships with our elected officials to engage their partnership in securing funding equity for our students. My efforts in collaboration with my fellow board members and the district admin team moved to create the district's advocacy committee. We have begun to see the needle move in an impactful way. I am incredibly proud of the progress we have achieved and acknowledge there is still more work to be done. Tonight, I sit before you not only as a parent of 3 within the district, 1 graduate, and a community member, but as someone who has been entrusted with the responsibility to serve. It is an honor to be elected, to hold the community's trust, and to contribute to the success of our students while balancing the needs of the community overall. This is a privilege I hope to reaffirm in the upcoming election. Thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, everybody. We'll get into the questions. Again, for these, you'll have 2 minutes to respond. Some of them are a bit long, so the questions will be up on the board if you need to reference them. So the first one, how do you view the role of a member of the Board of Education, and how would you balance parental input with the expertise of professionals? We'll start this one with Allison.
The balance between parent input with expertise and professionals. I think parent input is very important because parents do know their children, and although professionals, they are experts in the profession, I think they need to listen to parents more. I think our children are changing, and I think a change needs to happen in the school. What may have worked before may not work now, and I think the parents should have a louder voice.
Thank you. And Chris?
So the role of a member of the Board of Education is to help set the vision, approve policies and budgets, hire and evaluate superintendent, represent the community's voice in education. That last part is very important. And parents, community members, their input is equally important as the expertise of the professionals. So giving them the opportunity to share ideas, ask questions, needs to happen for all decisions made.
Thank you. Megan?
Thank you. Balancing the role of board member to parent is a challenge. Having had some practice at it, it does require some repeated checking of myself sometimes as it relates to how I feel personally versus my role as a board member. As it relates to how I participate as a member of the Board of Education, I promote the engagement and participation of all parents in the district to come in and use their voice. That is my most valuable role as a board member, is to encourage and share that information and encourage parents to be engaged with the admin team and encourage parents to engage with the teachers and ask the questions and be involved. That is the way to open the door to communication and to have a positive impact on the community.
Thank you. And Samantha?
Okay, so there's two questions in there. The first one, just the role of member of the Board of Education. Chris, that was spot on definition there, and it is important to remember kind of, sometimes it's hard to know where the line is, but definitely know what is for the board to engage in and what is for the board to steer folks in the right direction, to allow the admin team and staff to do their jobs, having very clearly stated our goals. And as we update policy, as we make decisions, clarifying every time kind of where we stand, the support that we give the teachers, the feedback that we get from parents, what we're hearing in the community. And so that nobody's sort of surprised when things come up. To go into the second part of that question of balancing parent input, it probably won't surprise a lot of people that the word process is going to come out of my mouth like 85 times tonight, because I do believe that is how you balance those things, is that we have teaching staff and support staff who are accessible. We have a chain of command that, if it is not immediately clear, again, as board members, when parents come to us to help illuminate what that pathway is, so that parents can engage with either the teacher, the principal, et cetera, up the chain of command if they need to. We do pride ourselves on the expertise of our professionals. We have an exemplary group of professionals at this, to the extent that when we put the word out that we need, we have an opening, we get applications, and we get a number of applications. We're not looking all over the place and twiddling our thumbs. And so again, like using that process, listening to parents, getting them going in the right direction, and then supporting Jim and Matt and everybody so that parents can find the information they need.
Thank you. So the next question, we got a lot of community input about, so we kind of tried to condense it. Current cultural issues and topics include a cell phone ban, which was just announced by the governor today, the bell-to-bell cell phone ban, and biological males participating in female sports are being allowed in female-specific areas. So two big cultural topics that our community is asking about. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on these issues, and we'll start this one with Chris.
So I can speak pretty personally to the cell phone ban, actually. So currently I am a middle school social studies teacher in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. We have had the bell-to-bell cell phone ban for 2 years now, and it's not very successful. Kids that follow the rules and do what they're supposed to do are gonna follow the rules anyways. The ones that don't are finding ways around it. And in many ways, it's become a larger distraction with kids trying to leave the room, go to their lockers, go to the bathroom to use the phones instead of before when they were just in their pockets and they were trying to use them discreetly. So it's really created a new set of problems. I don't foresee it going that well, just based on the 2 years of experience I have with it. I'm hoping down the line it would be more strict than that. And the second part of the question, biological males participating in female sports or being allowed in female specific areas. I've worked in a couple districts, like I said. What I've seen work well is when those students are given a space in the school to change, to use the bathroom as they feel they need to. That has worked really well. And I don't believe that that there's a large, significant number of problem where specifically biological males are competing in female sports and taking away opportunities from those athletes.
Thank you. Megan?
Thank you. So part one, relating to the cell phone ban, being a mom in the community and having had the opportunity to speak to some other parents in other districts where this has been implemented, I can somewhat support Chris's experience related to students getting super creative ways to work around it. Do I think that there is some merit to less distraction in the classroom from screen time and more opportunity to stay focused on learning? And we've also heard reports from the other side of the coin about the positive nature of sort of limiting the outside distraction in classrooms. Yes, we've heard both. As a mom of two teenage boys who are excessively distracted by their phones and what's going on in the social space, I feel like I would be open to talking about it more, as a way to find balance, because everything we do here is about balance. As it relates to part two of the question related to biological males participating in female sports, I will also concur with Chris that I do not think that this is a largely impactful problem within our own community. That said, the laws that pertain to who gets to play in what sports are done at the state level. We don't make laws here at the Board of Education. We support what we're given as part of the regulation. And if we have an issue with a law that is pertaining at the state level, then my suggestion would be to address that to your state assemblyman and to the governor's office. As far as that's concerned, we have to do what the state tells us we have to do by law. And if the law says that LGBT, specifically the T in terms of sports, should be playing with their gender assigned, then that's how we are gonna roll. I will say that we do have a fair number of LGBTQIA students in the district. They have every right to be here and they should be supported just like any other student in the district. When we say every student every day, that's every student every day.
Thank you. And Samantha?
So it may seem like parroting, but I'm gonna, in both cases, go first to the state law, that when we take the oath as elected officials, we do take an oath to follow New York state law. And so, again, in both cases, I think that the DASA law, right, the Dignity for All Students Act, now that can cut both ways in this case, but again, that's where I go to the strength and depth of the administrative support staff, social emotional staff, so that if this should come up, that we do have the depth of experience and understanding to A, follow the law, and B, make sure that every student is treated fairly and with dignity. So that's, I guess I took the second one first, so then I'll go back to the cell phone ban. I just go back to I was surprised what Teddy said when this kind of first came up, and we started, to our credit, ahead of the curve there, that we have started, or maybe not so far ahead of the curve, 2 years, but started doing cell phone free zones. And our student representative said, thank you to Mr. Quiles, because he actually found it to be a relief to not have the option to have his phone. Was this removal of pressure to be on the screen, to think about who else is on the screen, to think about what they're missing, instead of, he said, I was actually able to focus on the work I was trying to do in class. And, you know, I gotta tell you, coming from a teenager, I was like, what did you just say? And actually, you know, from students and parents in other districts, again, I'm sure there's, you know, a patchwork across the board, but I've heard similar, I've heard the opposite. And then the research, again, I go back to the research, is that the harmfulness of the screens and it's an evidence-based decision as far as I know.
Thank you. Allison?
As for the cell phone ban, I'm in favor. I think kids need to get off the screens. I mean, everybody should get off the screens more. I think it's detrimental to our society and our brains, and people should go sit in the sun for a while. I don't know about a ban for safety reasons. Like my son's gonna start kindergarten. I want to put an air tag on him, on his shoes, on his backpack. You know, the world we live in is pretty scary. So thinking of those who have kids in middle school and high school, like I would want them to have a cell phone so I could track them, make sure they're safe. Call me a helicopter mom, I'm just nervous. But I think the school should implement like a Wi-Fi free, like turn the Wi-Fi off from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. The kids can go outside, have class outside. I mean, it's good for everybody to be off their phones, be off their screens. So I don't know if I'm in favor of a ban, but I think it's a good start where we could start thinking of other solutions for our kids and as us as a community. As for biological males participating in female sports, I'm a believer in Title IX. Title IX was created for a reason for females to be able to have their own capacity in sports. There's female sports for a reason, and men and women are different. And men being in sports, it's completely different. I played softball from when I was 4 years old all the way through college, and it was, I can't imagine having to deal with what our kids have to deal with today in fighting for just to play sports. I'm not sure of a solution on that, but I'm just a very firm believer in Title IX. Thank you.
Thank you. Get to the next question. Being a member of the Board of Education is a voluntary position. What experience do you have in volunteering in the community? We'll start this one with Meg.
Thank you. I have a long-standing philosophy about volunteering in the community. I think anything that you can do for your community base in a positive way only just makes your life better. I have volunteered with Habitat for Humanity. I have volunteered in this capacity for going on the past 6 years. I have volunteered at the state and national level, raising awareness in my industry related to risk management, helping support legislation that will help businesses and community members here and in other areas learn and have access to appropriate insurance coverage. I have volunteered as a Cub Scout leader. I have volunteered as an Odyssey of the Mind coach. I have volunteered as a mom for both arts community engagement and sports community engagement. So it is very deep in my bones. My mom always said, if you're not helping someone, you're not doing it right. So it's really kind of deep ingrained in me from a young age about the importance of volunteering in the community.
Thank you. Samantha?
I used to volunteer a lot with my kids. Oddly, I had more time. I'm not sure how that happened. Obviously, aside from this position, I would say that my volunteering has been either outdoors or food-based. So like food bank drive type stuff, or like environmental education, getting kids outside, volunteering at and outdoor education programming, which I don't know what that says about me. Trees and food, they're pretty crucial. I'm not going to come close to what Megan has done, but I definitely am not as not as on the ball as she is. Yeah, I would say that that's what I've done, but, and again, like not to sort of toot our horn here, but, you know, the board is a very serious undertaking. And it's a lot of time reading and, doing research and, you know, getting the information. We need to make sound decisions, so not to be taken lightly. Probably not as fun as volunteering at the SPC. But very fun.
Thank you. Allison?
I volunteered a lot within sports communities. When I was a teacher, I was down south in Texas. I volunteered as a kickball coach. It's very big down there. It's a lot of fun. I've volunteered for the Special Olympics, blood drives, a lot of military focused things, with my husband being in the military, my father being in the military. I was kind of voluntold when I was a kid to volunteer, and we just kept it going as a family. We would do Thanksgiving for sailors who didn't have families to go home to when they were stationed in other places. That we've done like huge dinners to just small dinners at our house. So just a little bit of volunteering.
Thank you. And Chris?
Right out of college, I got involved with the Brunswick baseball board, the Babe Ruth side, and I served as secretary, vice president for about 9 or 10 years. During our time there, we brought in a new senior league that I developed that ran for pretty much my whole time there. We had a softball league on the baseball field for about 2 years. So I was very involved with coaching and maintaining the field and being involved with the board there. Also teaching, I have coached middle school, high school, basketball, baseball, soccer, and like Samantha said, kids tend to take a lot of your time, so I did a lot more before my little ones. I'm hoping to get back into that because I love coaching sports. And obviously, being a part of this, if elected, I'm a large stakeholder in education, being a teacher, so it's something that I'm very passionate about and hoping to be involved in.
Thank you. So our next question, what role do you see the Board of Education playing in supporting teacher and staff retention? And Samantha, we'll start with you.
Okay, this is gonna be a super boring answer, you guys, I'm sorry. A consistency, I know that that's like, but it's really true, and not consistency in a vacuum, of course. But to have high but achievable standards, a clear path to achieve those standards and those goals that go beyond next year, 2 years, 5 years, and then sticking to that, you know, by hook or by crook, right? When you're up 6.4% in your state budget, or you're down 2.9% in your budget, you don't chuck everything out the window and the house is on fire and what are we gonna do? We can't do that. You figure out a way to maintain that consistency, to maintain the support of the teachers and the staff to the very best of your ability. And again, the long-term planning, and this is where it's less about me and more about supporting this administration team who has through the years that I've been here really built up like deep relationships and trust and buy-in throughout the teaching and support staff, so that when the knocks come, they can not get blown off course and sort of get back on track. And so teachers and staff can rely on this district to support them to the very best of our ability when things are great and when things are not so great. And I think that's that's for us to make sure that those are the expectations we are setting for the admin team that we hire. We hire Jim, and we're making it very clear that that's the model that we want to see, is this intricate, supportive, long-term planning, so that teachers and staff know they've got a place to be.
Allison?
I think listening to their thoughts, their complaints, their achievements, what works, what doesn't. The teachers, they're in the trenches. And if we as volunteers don't listen, then we're really not going to understand. Yes, as a mother, I may understand, but I need to hear it from, a teacher. If they have complaints, I want them to know that, they have an ear on the board, that they can complain or, tell us, what they would like to see different in their classrooms, and to let them know that the ears are listening, and then that we're gonna fight for them so that they have a voice as well. And that they should feel supported, not just from a paycheck, but from, words of encouragement and by our policies, if we can help them in any way. I think if you build up the teachers, then retention is easy.
Thank you. Chris?
This is something that plays a big role in my life. So one of the big issues that I see in a way that the board can help with keeping teachers and staff is making sure that the correct administrators are in place. Because really a lot happens from there. I've been in a couple districts where administration is great, and it helps everything come together. You don't notice as many of the small little things that cause problems when it's not like that. Also, respecting teacher voice, respect in the classroom between students and teachers and parents and teachers has really gone way down. Teachers are professionals. We have master's degrees. It's important work that we're doing. We're on the front line, and if we're not getting the respect from the parents, it can really affect the students and their experience in the classroom. And once you lose that, it's hard to get that back. Beyond that, and it's important for the board to help build respect and trust between the teachers, parents, administrators, and students. And by doing that, I think that is a big thing that leads to burnout, which is where a lot of teachers and staff are going, is they don't feel like they're being trusted in the classroom, that their decisions are being trusted, that they're getting the respect that they deserve, and that they want to work together with the parents and the students, and causing a lot of people to leave the profession.
Thank you. Then wrap it up with Megan.
Thank you. I appreciate the question because I think it's important to outline the balance and the communication. Board members as individuals have no individual power. There is no individual responsibility as a board member. We function as a body. And so while we as community members are often found in the grocery store picking out our apples and can lend an ear just to stand and listen, which I'm always happy to do and do frequently. As far as it relates to balancing and supporting teacher and staff retention, thanking them for the work that they put in is key. Every time I see one of our wonderful teachers, and we are blessed to have some of the best teachers in the business in our district, I say thank you to them for everything that they do, because I know that they go above and beyond. As it relates to supporting
staff retention specifically, it is acknowledging when our admin team outlines a professional development goal and requires our support as a body towards funding of professional development. It is about making sure that they know that we are not looking to interfere with that relationship. And we have largely a very positive relationship with our teachers. And the proof of that is that we are highly sought after when it comes to teachers engaging. To Sam's point earlier, when we have a posting, we get a lot of applicants. People want to come and work with us because they know we have a well-functioning admin team. We have a well-functioning, supportive union arrangement for our teachers. Our teachers are well-respected, well-liked, well-supported, and very much appreciated.
Thank you. Next question. How do you define student success and how should the school district support it? We'll start this one with Allison.
I would define student success as a respectable adult once they graduate, but it starts with the young kids. I think student success would be a kid who enjoys school. My 4-year-old wakes up every day and he cannot wait to get to class, and I'm like, please keep this up. Don't ever change. But I mean, his teachers are doing something right. His teachers love and adore him, and I could not ask for anything more. But I know it's going to change every year, and I think that that goal changes every year. So success might look different to a 6th grader than it would to my 4-year-old. But I think if kids feel safe and they're happy to go to school and they want to learn, I think that's success. When they graduate, if they're a respectful person and they're hardworking and they can be a great addition to our society, that's success. It's hard to measure success for different kids, but I think if they are a good addition to our society, that's success. And the district supports it by keeping our kids wanting to come to school. The kids should know that this is their job until they're 18 years old, and hopefully they can do it with a smile. I think that is a good meter of success.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
So I would say student success is very unique to each student. It's very dependent on each student. I have 6th graders in my class who are constantly high A+. They're always going above and beyond, doing things outside the classroom. For them, they are very successful. I have students also at the other end who are super pumped when they get, their final grade is a 25 or a 30 because at the beginning of the year they were in the single digits. That's success for them. They've made improvement. So if we can get students to the end of their school career and they have found what they're interested in, they found what they want to do next, they're going to be good, productive citizens, that's successful. And as far as the school district supporting student success, the idea is that they need to support every student meeting their needs, whatever that happens to be. And it's going to be different for every student. You can't ignore some and only raise up the highest few, right? Everybody matters, everybody counts. We have to have all of them find their success. I think it's a very unique and individual marker.
Thank you. Megan?
Thank you. How do we define student success and how should the district support it? That's an important question. We have 2,600 students in Averill Park, all of them unique in what their needs and desires are. The district supporting their success comes in the measure of creating opportunities for them to have access. Let them have access to different programs, let them have access to different enrichment opportunities, whether that's sports, whether it's arts, whether it's technical education, whether it's honors classes, whether it's college-related classes. How the district supports student success is just opening doors for kids to have the opportunity to walk through those doors as much as they possibly can. I think that we do a really good job of opening those doors, and by comparison to other districts in the county, we are doing extremely well considering we are funded the least amount to other districts within the county. When we've got currently as of 23-24, a 94% graduation rate compared to the state average of 86%. The only other two districts in the area that are above 90% are well more funded than we are. Every other district in the county of Rensselaer is barely hanging on to the state average, and some of them are below it. So I think as it relates to how we define student success, we're hitting the marks, and we are doing so effectively even through COVID. We've never even dropped below 92%. So I am extremely proud of the opportunities that we create for our students here. And it's one of the reasons that I deliberately moved to the community and that I continue to fight for the community, because we do care about creating those opportunities for kids.
Thank you. Samantha?
So I'm just gonna go back to our 3 district goals, right? College and career ready, community or school community engagement, and digital literacy. And as my fellow candidates have described, every student is different. And so what college and career ready means is different for everybody. And so the extent to which we can give them the support, whatever that looks like, if it's culinary school, or if it's kids doing the nursing program, or the early childhood education program through BOCES that are gonna dive right into a career track. The work that Kyle does in the CTE wing, bringing on a business teacher that we hope to do, is helping each kid find that niche of whatever college and career ready is. But to go to the second piece, that school community engagement may not seem as important as your ABCs, right? But one of the things I've learned in the research that I've done from my work is the extent to which isolation has impacted not just this decade, I mean, it's all of us now, but young people kind of coming out of COVID and coming up in the world of screens, and the impact that isolation has. So the way that we are helping kids interact with each other, and be able to work in teams, be able to have a social circle, people that they can depend on. In our elementary schools, one of our metrics is there an adult that you can depend on? And so having kids be able to look outside themselves means that when they can go out to the world and the answer isn't right in front of them, they have the means by which to find that answer, discern that answer, or find help. And then of course, digital literacy, again, a key tool in A, keeping our kids safe, and B, sending them out into this world. So the district is already supporting it. That's my answer for that.
Thank you. So get to the last question for the night. The district's mission is to meet the needs of and create opportunities for every student every day. What does that mean to you as a potential member of the Board of Education? And we'll start with Chris first.
So I think this relates to that last question and the idea that we need to make sure the district that we are creating those opportunities and helping students find what they need, getting them the right resources, the help and the support. And I mentioned that it's very unique to each student. It's going to be different for each student. And as a potential member of the board here, it's making the policies, setting the budget that is going to allow those opportunities for every student, every day, and to meet their needs. It comes down very simply to that, following that mission.
Thank you. Megan?
Thank you. This principle of every student, every day, comes up both in positive and negative ways sometimes. Often someone being unhappy with a particular outcome, they'll throw that out there. What it means to be a member of this Board of Education and to embody the principles of every student every day is to acknowledge the 29% of our students who live in economic disadvantage and make sure that they have opportunities to access as much as the students who are not economically disadvantaged. It's acknowledging that last year we had 26 students who were homeless and making sure that they have opportunities. It's making sure that we as a district are recognized as just as valuable and important as our neighboring districts who have historically over the last 10 years received exponentially more funding than we have, because the data is skewed and the foundation formula was broken. It is important to recognize that embodying every student every day means that we need to support students that they and their families don't necessarily live by the same ideology that we live by, but they have every right to an education just like the student sitting next to them. It's incredibly important that we remember we're all here as humans first, and so creating opportunities for students to get to the level where they can be successful, giving them all those opportunities is the best way that we can have a positive impact on our future in the world.
Thank you. Samantha?
That's another big question. And then one that I think that I certainly think about on a regular basis, because we are often asked to make decisions between, between one thing and another, where some students are going to get something that they need, but it might come at the cost of another program. And I can think of, a number of programs that either maybe just make the cut or just don't make the cut, and it's either enriching and amazing or heartbreaking, right? You can experience both of these kind of emotions in the same night on any given, especially during budget season. But again, hopefully this isn't too repetitive. I look again at supporting our administrative team, and one of the things I do want to highlight is, and I talked about it a little bit in my opening there, just in terms of that, the fiscal management, the tools, like having experts who can find money here and there, that can sort of back end us into what we need to do to meet the needs and create opportunities for every student every day to the absolute extent that we can, and then to us to go into Albany and fight for more. And it's taken a long time. It's been over 3 years, 2 years, I think, of formal advocacy work. And I just want to point out the advocacy partners that we have. Jim has a great relationship with NISCOS, the New York State Council of Superintendents, the business officers, getting the information from those entities who really are the best at what they do, enable us to come with like strong evidence-based arguments that I think have made the case at the state level for more funding. Because that's a lot of what it comes down to. Sorry, another boring answer.
Thank you. Allison?
I think I'm glad to meet the needs is first, because I think that's the most important. If the needs are met, opportunities will come. I think we need to get back to the basics for our students and our teachers, to give the teachers a fighting chance to be able to give each student, to meet the needs of each student, and then create opportunities. I think the needs are different for each student, but the opportunities should be the same, and it's hard to answer. It's a really loaded question. But I think if our needs are met first, then opportunities will come. And I think as a potential member of the Board of Education, I would fight for our needs and then be an advocate for opportunities.
Thank you. So now everybody gets a 1-minute wrap up. So we will start this one with Megan.
Thank you. Supporting the mission of every student every day means ensuring access to the resources and opportunities our kids need to succeed. As I seek re-election, I am focused on the progress we have made together and the challenges that still lie ahead. My commitment to the Averill Park School community is unwavering. I will continue to listen, offer support to our dedicated teachers and staff, and advocate for the needs and aspirations of every student in our community. We have built a foundation of trust and collaboration. I am eager to build upon that foundation and create even more opportunities for our community's youth. Thank you all for being here tonight, and to the people engaged and watching at home. Your support has been invaluable, and I am honored to have had the chance to serve you and hope to serve you once again. I humbly ask for your vote so we can continue this journey together, working hand in hand to achieve the vision we all share for our children and the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Samantha?
I said in my bio that I'm a product of public schools. I believe to my core in public education and the extent to which public education serves as the foundation of a free, democratic, equitable society. It is the cornerstone of a thriving community. It is the means by which students can propel themselves upwards from wherever they started. As I said before, it is, not to be crass, it is the single biggest predictor of our value, as a community, our property. There's no better return on investment than investing in our children. These are going to be the ones who take care of us in a couple of years. They're going to be the leaders of tomorrow, and that's all.
Thank you. Allison?
I hope I'm given the opportunity. I would love to be a positive voice for our younger learners, for our teachers. And I really would like to be involved in our community. I previously stated I was an educator, and I do miss the education system. And I know it looks a little different now, but being a mom, I'm on the other side. And I just really would love to be involved in the community. And I really hope I'm given that opportunity.
Chris?
So I hope that you'll give me your support in electing me to the board. Being both a parent and a teacher, education is everything. It's, given me everything in my life. And I want that to be the opportunity for our students in our district as well. Education is the key to opening up opportunities in the lives of our students. And I can bring a unique perspective, I think, to the board, and hoping to be able to work collaboratively, with our other board members if elected. And Averill Park is already a great district, but I want to work to make it better.
Thank you. So as a reminder, you can vote for 3 of these candidates on May 20th as part of the annual school budget vote. And thank you all for coming.